And again, just want to thank Sinn Féin and the other co-sponsors of this bill and Simon Communities, Deputy O'Brien, for bringing this forward. Again, it's great to have cross-party unity on this. And a couple of just quick issues I'll just raise that have been brought forward by members in the contributions before I close. In terms of private emergency accommodation, new standards are currently being rolled out for private emergency accommodation in each facility, and this will be completed early in the new year. And the standards are based on the National Quality Standards Framework. That was in relation to Deputy Callaghan's comment. In terms of health, Housing for All provides that every homeless person is to have an individual healthcare plan, and funding for this was provided in the budget to provide for these additional services. Deputy Tobin, apart from his bizarre comments, wasting his speaking time on having a go at the Green Party, there is a review of the fiscal treatment of landlords to be done by Q3 2022, and its commitment under Housing for All. As Minister O'Brien has already outlined, this government's commitment to preventing homelessness is strong and will continue to be unwavering. Policies are in place, backed by the necessary funding to help people remain in their homes. We are preventing and will continue to prevent homelessness from happening in the first instance. We all agree that preventing homelessness is a priority for government to address. The government therefore will not be opposing the bill this evening. No party or deputy has a monopoly on wisdom when it comes to addressing our toughest challenges. I and my government colleagues welcome all proposals as to how we can improve our response in dealing with the particular needs of those facing into the prospect of homelessness. And again, that's why I welcome this evening. In enacting legislation, we have to make sure the law is fit for purpose and will deliver the desired outcomes. The Residential Tenancies Act 2004-21 regulates the landlord-tenant relationship in the rented residential sector and sets out the rights and obligations of landlords and tenants. Any proposed measure that impacts on private property rights requires detailed consideration and scrutiny, having regard to the provisions of Article 43 of the Constitution and the associated legal complexities. In the context of recent and future changes to the Residential Tenancies Act, it was and remains important for any rental reform to be justifiable and necessary as a matter of priority to avoid the risk of weakening the stability and confidence in the rental sector. The Government relies on the private rental sector to provide much-needed housing generally, as well as housing through which social housing needs can be met. Any actions that directly or inadvertently undermine the economic viability of rental accommodation provision could negatively impact on both existing and future supply of rented accommodation and the wider economy, and damage the future capacity and attractiveness for both landlords and for tenants. As Minister O'Brien outlined, he is required to commence a review of the operation periods of a termination notice to be given to tenants before June 4, 2022, and it's my understanding he has committed to bring this forward earlier in 2022. In this context, the Simon Communities of Ireland proposal will be carefully considered. I want to talk further about the actions of the Government undertaking to prevent homelessness. Next year's housing budget of €4 billion will see the largest amount spent on housing in the history of the state. The available funding will deliver social and affordable homes. A major focus on this will be investment on the delivery of new build, with an overall target of new homes. Housing for All commits to the delivery of over 9,500 new build social homes on average over the next 5 years. Over 90,000 new social homes will be delivered in the period 2022 to 2030. Approximately 18,000 cost rental homes will be delivered by local authorities, AHBs and the Land Development Agency between now and 2030. Housing for All provides funding and commits to delivering 36,000 affordable homes for purchase, an average of 4,000 per annum. Overall, it is estimated that Ireland will need an average of 33,000 new homes to be provided for each year from 2021 to 2030. Housing for All plans to deliver these homes. These are ambitious targets and a testament to the work ongoing in the Department, local authorities, AHBs and the private sector. Work is also underway with the Housing Delivery Coordination Office and the local authorities on the implementation of measures to deliver housing solutions for households on the social housing waiting list. While it is undoubtedly the most crucial part of the jigsaw, the provision of housing on its own will not be sufficient to help all individuals to exit homelessness or be prevented from entering it in the first place. For this reason, other programmes to address homelessness are predicated on the understanding that many households experiencing homelessness have additional support needs. Specific measures are required to address those needs, and these include measures to help rough sleepers into sustainable accommodation, the continued expansion of Housing First with a focus on the construction and acquisition of one-bed homes, and importantly ensuring that there are dedicated resources and funding to deliver the necessary health supports, including mental health supports required to assist homeless people with complex needs. Housing First currently supports over 600 former rough sleepers and long-term users of emergency accommodation with significant health, mental health and addiction issues to remain in their own homes. In line with the commitment in Housing for All, we are planning to expand the targets set out under 2018-21 National Implementation Plan. Housing for All commits to working to eradicate homelessness by 2030. It sets out a number of commitments that will build upon the comprehensive prevention mechanisms that are already in place and delivering results. If these prevention mechanisms need to be improved, we are open to considering new ideas. That is why we want to see this proposed legislation being scrutinised further. Something that many with experience of homelessness say that agencies should be working better and working together. It is a cause of frustration when different agencies and services are not working together towards common goals. Eradicating homelessness by 2030 is an ambitious goal and one that requires the coordinated actions of a wide variety of agencies and stakeholders, and this requires a holistic approach with enhanced levels of cohesion. This is why the Minister is establishing the National Homeless Action Committee, and this committee will be cross-governmental and interagency in composition with the involvement from key stakeholders. It will ensure better coherence and coordination of homeless-related services in delivering policy measures and actions. The Minister has identified all nominees that are part of this group. In conclusion, Ceann Comhairle, and members, I thank the House again for providing an opportunity to discuss this legislation. It has given us a chance to talk about preventative measures to tackle homelessness, as well as the actions needed to increase housing supply, the delivery of social housing supports and initiatives to address homelessness. The number of individuals experiencing homelessness still remains much too high, and the commitments outlined in Housing for All and continued interagency cooperation between different governmental departments, local authorities and partners in the voluntary and NGO sector will be of vital importance as we continue to address this issue. The bill will go forward for pre-legislative scrutiny where its deficiencies can be addressed and where its potential effectiveness can be assessed. In the meantime, progress has been and will continue to be made in the critical area. We have an ambitious programme of work that will be intensified and accelerated over the coming months and years to eradicate homelessness by 2030.